My name is Bailey Wright. I work as a District 1 4-H program specialist. And today we're going to do a quick overview / training of the Quiz Bowl contest. This is pretty informal. I'm going to take you through what the Quiz Bowl contest is, some of the rules, and a few tips and tricks as well. So if you're looking for just a brief overview, hopefully this will help, and then you can go back to your county agent and ask some more questions if you need a more in-depth explanation. So first and foremost, I have us here on the District 1 4-H website, and I'm going to show you where you can find information not only on the Quiz Bowl contest, but all of our fall contests. So under this Events tab, if you go to 4-H Events and Contests, scroll a little bit, you'll see Fall, Big Fun, and D1. Here's a list of the contests that we're going to be having this fall. We're just going to stick with Livestock Quiz Bowl as our example for today, but know that everything I'm saying is going to apply to all three Quiz Bowls: Horse Quiz Bowl, Livestock Quiz Bowl, and FCH Quiz Bowl. So if you click here on our district website, it's going to give you another link, and this is the link to our district letter. So these letters, this information is specific to the D1 contest, so I really want y'all to read through these. Of course, the first page is just the basics of the contest, and then it goes into some contest format. So first and foremost, the teams can be made up to 4 individuals. For senior teams, you have to have 4 individuals in order to advance to state. For junior and intermediate teams at our district, we will allow you to do a team of 3 if you can't quite get that 4th member. Okay, and then so you can read through this, it kind of gives you the gist of our district contest. If you click this link, it's going to take you to the state page, and this is where we get even more information on our Quiz Bowl. So first, let's start at the Texas 4-H Quiz Bowl guide. Again, there's going to be a couple things that differ from our district contest, but we'll just go through this together briefly. Hopefully I can hit the high notes. Okay, so again, they make sure to reiterate, must be comprised of 4. Again, for our senior teams, yes, must have 4 members. For our juniors and intermediates, we'll allow 3. No less than 3. If you have 4, even better. Reference material, we're going to talk about that. Let's go to question types. So the question types, there's 3 different types: one-on-one, toss-up, and bonus. So this one-on-one is new in the past couple of years. It's been added. So it takes, so let's say you have team A and team B. You have player 1, 2, 3, and 4 on each team. So these one-on-ones are at the very beginning of the match. It's a question that's only asked to team A player 1 and team B player 1. It's a question to those 2. So those 2 are racing to get it. And then it goes on. Team B player 2, team A player 2 have a one-on-one, and so on. So that'll make more sense when I show you the scorecard, but that's one-on-one. So at district, we'll go through 8 of those questions. So we'll go through the full teams twice at the very beginning in one-on-one questions. So for juniors and intermediate teams, if you only have a team of 3, when we get to that 4th and 8th one-on-one question, you just won't have a team member compete because you won't have a player 4. So the other team's player 4 won't really have to race to get the question. Then we move in to toss-up questions, which are open for response by any contestant. Again, I should have probably started with this, but we do utilize buzzer boards for this question, for this contest. So you buzz in to answer your question. Once you buzz in, you have to wait for recognition before you can answer, or you'll lose a point. At our district contest, the way we recognize is verbally. So we say, Team A, player 1, and that's when you know you've been recognized. So wait for that recognition before you answer, always. So then after one-on-one, we go into toss-up. There's usually about 16 toss-up questions. It says it up here. There's 8 one-on-one questions. Again, that's because we're going through the team twice. About 16 toss-up questions and 2 to 4 bonus questions. So the bonus questions are attached to the toss-up. Before we ask a toss-up question that has a bonus attached, we'll let you know. We'll say, this question has a bonus attached. So whichever team gets that toss-up question correct will then get a shot at the bonus question. And for the bonus questions, we do let the teams confer and discuss before they answer their bonus question. If no one gets the toss-up question that has a bonus attached, then we just don't even ask the bonus question. It is double elimination, so you have to lose twice before you're cut out of the bracket. Okay, the moderator will read all questions indicating the question number and when applicable, designating the chairs eligible to respond. So that means that's in reference to that one-on-one in the beginning. They'll say, okay, this is only for players A1 and player B1 to answer. We'll make sure that's clear. We won't repeat any part of the question or give any explanation to the question. How it's written is exactly how the moderator will say it, and then we'll expect teams to either answer or not answer. Again, I told y'all the way that we acknowledge at the District 1 contest is verbally. So A1, A2, B1, B2. Okay, after the question is read to completion, if it gets read to completion, contestants have 5 seconds to buzz in. If no one from either team buzzes in within 5 seconds, we go on to the next question. No one gains or loses any points on that question. Once you buzz in, if someone buzzes in after the question within those 5 seconds, after you're acknowledged, you have 5 seconds to start your answer. So you can't buzz in, be acknowledged, and just think for a whole minute and try to come up with your answer. You have 5 seconds to start your answer. If a question is interrupted by a buzzer, for example, if you think you already know it halfway through the sentence and you buzz in, they won't finish reading the question. And you have 5 seconds to start your response again after acknowledgement. But if the question is interrupted by a buzzer, the moderator automatically stops, and so they're not going to give you the rest of the question. The correct answers will be given. So, for example, if there's a question that's skipped because no one buzzes in, we'll go ahead and read the correct answer. Or if a question is buzzed in on and the wrong answer is given, we'll give the correct answer. It's a learning opportunity. Reading and answering of questions. We talked about one-on-one. Only one member of each team may respond in those. The moderator will clearly state who the question is directed to. If another contestant, so if it's between A2 and B2 and B3 buzzes in, that team will lose a point. So make sure your kids are clear on what one-on-one questions mean. After each question, the scorekeeper will announce the gain or loss of a point. And we'll look more at the point system here in a minute. But correct responses obviously get 1 point. Incorrect responses lose a point. If no response is just a wash. No points gained, no points lost. Again, we talked about toss-up and bonus questions. Okay, so for bonus, if a team answers the toss-up that has a bonus attached correctly, they will then say, great job, Team A. There's a bonus question attached. Read the bonus question, and then will become a 10-second discussion period where the team can discuss. And then at the end of the discussion period, it'll be signaled by a timer. They'll say discussion's over, or you'll hear a little buzz. From that point, they have 5 seconds for either the team captain or whoever you decide on your team is going to answer that question to buzz in and then begin answering the question after being recognized. So does that make sense? You have a 10-second discussion period, 5-second buzz in on bonus questions. And if you miss a bonus question, no points lost. If you get it correct, you get 2 points. If it's incorrect, no points lost. No answer, no points lost. So definitely tell your team I would tell my team if they got a bonus question, even if they had no clue throw out an educated guess because you're not going to lose points for an incorrect response or no answer. Building on that, if I were coaching, I would also tell teams if they did not know the question and they were in a tight race or they were already winning, I wouldn't be throwing out random guesses because an incorrect response does lose a point. Team participation and reward points. So once every person, so if you have, and this is only for teams of 4, so if you're a junior or intermediate team who has a team of 3, this doesn't pertain to you. For teams of 4, once every individual on that team has answered a question, you get 2 team participation points. Answered a question correctly, you get 2 team participation points. And so once all 4 of you have answered a question correctly, you get 2 points, and then it starts over. If all 4 of you answer another question correctly, 2 points again. I'll let y'all read through tiebreakers. Spectators and viewing. Only the contestants and 1 coach from each team are allowed in the room. So except for when we get to our final round at our district, we allow an open audience for the championship round. But prior to that, it's just the team members in one coach. We go over this really in depth at contest at our district. If ever they feel like their buzzer isn't working, they just need to raise their hand and we will do a buzzer check. Timeouts. Timeouts of any type are allowed only after a question is answered and before the next question is started. A contestant or the moderator may call a timeout for equipment failure or clarification of a rule at any time. Coaches are only allowed 1-minute timeout during the match to visit with your team. So you only get 1 timeout if you're a coach. You're not allowed to encourage the team to protest during the timeout. The timeout should be used for a positive youth development and some encouragement. Coaches may also call a timeout for clarification of a rule. There's no limit on that. We want to make sure everyone's clear on rules. Protesting. Any team member may declare an unofficial protest to an answer. That's if you think you buzzed in, you thought you had the right answer, we said no, that was incorrect, and you think we're wrong, then a team member can do an unofficial protest. Once an unofficial protest has been made, the team lodging the protest has a 10-second consultation period to declare if they want to go for an official protest. So maybe someone on the team says, I want to protest this, and then the team discusses it like, no, you're wrong, we don't want to protest this. Or maybe they're like, yeah, we agree, let's protest it. Then you'll do your 10-second consultation period to decide if you want to move forward with the protest and make it official or not. Once an official protest is made, we'll pause the game until the protest is resolved. If the protest focuses on contradicting information from the official resources, I'll show you all the official resources here in just a minute. Contest officials bring the official references, we'll have them there at the contest, into the room, and we will give the team 2 minutes to find the information to support their protest. So we'll bring, if it's a book, we'll bring the book out and say, here you go, you have 2 minutes to use this book and prove to us that you're right and we're wrong. If the protest focuses on gameplay rules, equipment failure, or other issues, we'll refer to the guide for instruction. Once the committee makes their decision on the protest, it's final. If the protest is not upheld, you lose a point. So if we bring you that book and you can't find, in the 2 minutes, you can't find where you can prove that your protest is valid, you will lose a point. So be really careful on those protests. There's more information on that. I'll let y'all read through if y'all need to. Obviously, code of conduct is always upheld in all of our contests. No cell phones or other electronics. We'll even tell judges won't have cell phones in there, but neither will the coaches. So none of the youth can have a cell phone. We don't want smart watches, anything like that, and we'll ask the same for our coaches. We also won't allow you to bring in a notepad and write down questions or anything like that. Okay, here's a breakdown of the scoring. One-on-one questions, correct, +1, incorrect, -1. If another contestant that wasn't the contestant supposed to be answering answers, they lose a point there. Again, if no one answers, it's just a 0, no points lost or gained. Toss-up questions, correct, +1, incorrect, -1. Bonus questions, +2, incorrect, no points lost. Always go for the bonus question. Answering without being acknowledged or without buzzing in. If you just answer not buzz in, you lose a point. Answering without being acknowledged, you lose a point as well. Make sure you practice. It gets really high energy and exciting and everyone's just going for it. A lot of times we see a lot of kids not wait to be acknowledged. Make sure you're strict about that at practice so that they're in the rhythm of doing that when it comes down to contest. The team points, we talked about that. Once each team member correctly answers a one-on-one or a toss-up, bonus questions don't count in that, correctly, the team will get +2 points. We talked about that. If a protest is not upheld, -1. If it is upheld, no points lost or gained. We don't do individual awards at district, just team awards. All right, so hopefully that gave y'all a good overview of how the contest works. Now let's go back and look at resources. So if you scroll down here, I think I said we were going to use livestock as our example. They each have a resource. FCH has an additional study guide. So we're just going to go to the resources, and it gives us a list. It says seniors on the state because state contests, they don't do junior and intermediate qualifying contests. But so for District 1, we use these resources as our resources for all ages. So that's the resources. They narrowed it down a little bit this year, which is wonderful. These are the official resources. This is what I would focus on. Questions must come from these official resources. So that's what I would focus on because we know the questions are coming out of this. A lot of the times I get a question like, what do we do with these resources? Where do we even start? I think there's several approaches you could take. I think one approach is have your coaches, your project leaders get together, go through these resources, and just start making a list of questions, making your own question bank. That's something I would do. I think you can ask your kids to do the same. I think you tell them, maybe you even assign, one of you is going to take beef this week, one takes swine, one takes sheep, one takes goats, maybe divide the quality counts up and say, next week I want you to come back with 5 questions from what I assigned you. And have them create questions too. Maybe switch it up the next week. You can assign different chapters to have the kids create questions while they're studying. So I think that's pertinent. I think using youth, using adult project leaders and coaches to create your own question bank is so pertinent. Also, part of it is they just have to study. And I think ways that I've done it in the past is assign different chapters to different kids to study, and then they come back and report on what they learned and what they shared. And I think having them report on maybe 5 or 10 questions from what they studied is great as well. But building a question bank is really important to me. And if you do this contest repeatedly year after year, you keep that question bank and just keep building on it. And that becomes really helpful. By the time you're in your 3rd year, you have a great set of questions there. But also I want to reiterate, a lot of times we just get so focused on creating question banks and passing those out to the team members and just having them memorize those question banks. There are times when not only do they need to be memorizing and studying questions and studying the material, that I think we miss opportunities to truly do some hands-on lessons in Quiz Bowl. Just think about things like swine breeds. Instead of just having them memorize a breed that is white with erect ears is a Yorkshire. Truly spend some time on some of those areas where you can do a lesson and let them grasp the concept so they don't have to have that memorized because it's something they can reference in their mind and just know. So I definitely would like to encourage all project leaders to take advantage of truly doing some lessons in different areas so that they can learn it and not just memorize. So Quiz Bowl is pretty straightforward. It's one of our contests where I think the rules are pretty black and white and you know what's expected of you. And so I think that's, for certain personality types, really great. It's a fun contest, it's high energy, but it does take a time commitment in terms of studying and learning and practicing. So I wish all of you the best of luck with your Quiz Bowl teams. If you have further questions, make sure you reference, again, the guide we looked at, the letter on the district website, and reach out to your county extension agents. Thanks. Have a great day.